Welcome once again. It's time for another edition of Shelf Life Book Reviews Online, where I present to you a very highly recommended book, one that I hope you will consider adding to your must-buy list. Now, if you're a wrestling fan, I think you're going to like this one. The book is Macho Man, The Unbelievable Untamed Life of Randy Savage by Jon Finkel. This is published by ECW Press, and it retails for $29.95. Most wrestling fans of the 1980s and 1990s are very familiar with Randy Macho Man Savage. He was quite a character, and this book looks at his life, but it also looks at his family. His father, Angelo Poffo, was a wrestler in his own right, and actually, an interesting aside is that in the Navy, he set a sit-up record. In fact, he set a world sit-up record. He did over 6,000 consecutive sit-ups over, I think it was over a 6-hour span, and he's a title holder. And well, that's quite a thing to be proud of. Now, Randy Savage, he was born Randy Poffo, and he has another brother who wrestled, Lanny Poffo. Lanny was called the Professor. He was always spouting poetry or whatever. So, but Randy Poffo, before he became a Savage, wanted really badly to become a baseball player, and he did. Baseball was pretty well 24/7 his life. He wanted to get into the big leagues, and he wasn't too bad. But when that sort of fizzled out, he decided to get into the squared circle. Now, when he began, his father, Angelo Poffo, started his own wrestling federation, the International Wrestling Federation, and he was sort of in competition to Jerry Lawler's Continental Wrestling Association. Now, when the IWF went out of business, Randy went over to Jerry the King Lawler and wanted to join his group. Now, he had been the competition, but it looked good for Jerry Lawler to bring Randy Savage because he was getting more popular. So they had a year-long feud, and that really brought Randy Savage's attention to the wrestling-loving public. And soon he became one of the top wrestlers of the circuit. Now, years later, word got around to the WWE. It was called the WWF. WWF has had so many names. But Vince McMahon heard about this Randy Savage character, and so he decided to bring him to the WWE. And like they say, the rest is history, because he had matches, what they consider one of the greatest matches in current or latter day wrestling history was his WrestleMania 3 match with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, where they still talk about it today. It's on YouTube, and they call it one of the most well planned out matches. Before the match, the two had page after page of script of what they wanted to do in the match, and they performed it to a T. So it was, a classic. Now, along the way, Randy Savage met this girl, Elizabeth Ann Hewlett, and he was like love at first sight. So they did marry, and she became his manager, known as Miss Elizabeth. Now, there are interesting stories in the book about her. There were a lot of angles during Randy Savage's time in the WWE, especially his feud with George the Animal Steele, the hairy back guy. And apparently, George the Animal Steele fell in love with Elizabeth. He was infatuated with her, and he carried her off, one day to the dressing room. Now, apparently, Randy, although this was all planned out and well staged, at times he got jealous for some reason, because he thought the fans would think that George the Animal Steele, took her back, to the dressing room to do intimate things with her. And he had trouble at times, it seems like, figuring out reality and fantasy, especially in the wrestling world where everything is fantasy. Let's be honest here. So, but the book is really in depth. It's talks about his ups and downs in life. He did eventually leave the WWE, and he went to the WCW, World Champion Wrestling. and he was there for quite a while. Now, the sad thing is he suddenly died of a heart attack, a massive heart attack, while driving a car with his second wife. He did divorce Miss Elizabeth back, I think it was 1993 or so. Like, there was a love-hate relationship. And she died as well, I think it was 2003, of an apparent drug overdose of some type. So it's really a sad, sad story. And his brother, Randy Poffo, who was also with the WWE, while the book was being written, he passed away in 2023. So this is really in-depth. If you're a fan of Macho Man, Randy Savage, or wrestling in general, this is a book that is very comprehensive. It's got a lot of names, people you'll recognize, people you cheered for, people you hated. So go out and buy this book. Now, Randy Savage always said, "Oh yeah," and I'm sorry I can't impersonate him. But what I've got to say is, "Oh yeah, this is a classic." So go out and buy it. So if you do purchase it, please let me know if you do agree with my review. So thank you for watching. I'll be back again with a really great book. Until then, stay safe, stay sane, stay in touch, and I will see you at the bookstore. Bye for now.